You're daring you to do it.
Is it?
Oh, you did
It's
it.
on.
Hey.
The thing I hate about this is when you try to start it, it takes like 10 seconds to actually start. It's very confusing to know when to start talking.
It does the same to stop too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just comes up with this little wheel that spins around for ages. It's like, where are we? Where are we? Where are we? But we got there in the end. So hello, our lovely fish people. Hope you're all doing well. We're back. We're back at it. So yeah, what have you guys been up to recently? Any exciting fish news slash fish stories going on?
Any intentional guppy manifestations.
You've been doing that? How's that been going for you?
I don't have any guppies, so it's been going very poorly.
Yeah. Well, see, that's your first hurdle to overcome.
Been intentional African cichlids.
Fair enough. But yeah, any other actual news going on? Had any fun breeders or anything?
Not for me. No, I've been working on my Holden, which has been cool. So I haven't been working in my fish room.
Hold
They've
on.
been
Hold on.
they're
Hold
there.
on.
They're there.
Hold
But,
on.
you know, yeah.
By working on, you mean more than just opening the garage door and checking it's still there? Like you've actually been doing something on work on it?
You're right.
And
You need to clean the dust off the dashboard somehow.
in a moment of madness, I decided that I would cut out some rust and learn how to weld on it. So I cut big chunks out of the side of it, and then got some steel and my little welder, and then blew holes all through it. So that was pretty cool. But I managed to get a couple of catch panels in and stuff, and without knowing how to weld before the weekend. So yeah, that was cool.
So that'll translate to fish well, because when you need to create a new rack, you'll be able to weld something together, no problem, because it'll be less important than Holden. So who
I
cares?
was actually thinking that I had a whole bunch of steel there for fish tank racks that I took straight to the scrappers like over the Christmas break. And then I was like, well, I like this welding stuff. Maybe I should have just welded up a new rack.
I thought you might have been bringing steel tanks back.
Well, and if I got the Holden going, I could use the back of it to transport tanks and fish and stuff, because that's what it is. It's a ute, you see.
Too easy.
There you go. So it is fish related.
Yep, I'll accept it. What about you, Cam? You had any fun things breeding?
Define fun things.
Fish.
All right.
Things that are not fun.
Nothing new since last time. Well, I did find some random fry yesterday. I've got no idea what it was, what they're from.
Classic.
How did they get there?
They were on the spawning moss that I used, and I put all the moss back into the same tank, and then all of a sudden there was some fry in that tank.
Oh, yeah. So obviously, whatever eggs hadn't hatched properly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not sure what they are. There's about half a dozen or so in there that I can see so far. So there's probably about 5,000 of them. So we'll find out in about a month's time when they get a bit bigger. Yeah.
What are you feeding all your tiny little fries?
Infusoria, microworms, and vinegar eels are the first foods that they're generally getting.
So you must have quite a large infusoria culture. I guess at this time of year it's pretty easy because you can do it outside, right? It's hot enough.
Yeah, I've got 2 buckets sitting out the back here with infusoria.
You just
what
put
is that for those listening who don't know what that is?
Hold on, two questions being asked. What's going on?
What is infusoria? It's little tiny critters and bugs and algae and stuff that grow in manky buckets, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
What do you feed yours on? Just lettuce and shit, or grass clippings?
I squeeze a bit of gunk out every now and then from the filters, and then just a little bit of random fry food from time to time.
Oh, okay. So you don't do the lettuce and stuff? Lettuce and bananas? No. We used to do bananas.
Yeah. Banana skins or banana?
Banana skins, yeah.
Just chuck a bit in the bottom of the container and walk away.
Yeah, I'd seed it or something.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it'll happen on its own anyway, but it happens faster if you give it something
to eat on,
some seed sort of bacterially buggy stuff.
Good stuff for it to eat.
And so you just take some of the water out of those buckets and chuck in your tanks, basically.
Yeah, I just take a little jug out of it basically, and then just like those little bitty plastic containers. Just pour a little half of one of them into each tank a couple of times.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
obviously you see the fry just start picking it, invisible crap in the water.
At random bits and pieces. What the hell are you eating?
Yeah.
I
Have you looked at it under a microscope yet?
No. Is it fun to look at?
I don't know. It'd just be an interesting thing to do.
Yeah, I was going to pull my microscope out yesterday, but I didn't. So we'll see how we go tomorrow and today.
Yeah. Okay. And then you just culture microworms and vinegar eels as well.
Yeah. So just
and
those combinations seems to be working fairly well.
Brine shrimp too when they get to a certain size.
Yeah. Seems about a week, 10 days. Brine shrimp seems to be about the right time for them.
And that's when they'll hit. That's when they'll hit some serious growth when you can get that brine shrimp into them, eh?
Yeah. So it's all learning for me on when the right time is to transfer from one food to another. And all fish are obviously going to grow different speeds and be big enough at different times. So it's all kind of just working it out.
From birth, eh?
Yeah. So gauging it, seeing what's happening, and going from there.
You got
sorry, Karen.
I was gonna say you got this week a interesting new fish, didn't you?
I got lots of interesting new fish this week.
One that you were telling us is probably one of the rarest fish in New Zealand. Even
it's up there. Yeah, it's not quite as rare as Ryan's golden cichlids that he's got, but they're definitely few and far between. So I picked up a L134 leopard frog pleco, which is kind of exciting. Fun fact, I sold it approximately 6 years ago to the guy that I just bought it off, but that's okay.
That's interesting because I've heard of them before. I'm sure I've heard of them before. Maybe they were around or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So no one kept them, bred them.
So the myth and the legends go, they were wrongly imported, and either no females got imported or very few females got imported. So the people that have had them in their hands have been basically trying to work from nothing, and then they've just been distributed around the place, and then as individual fish go to individual tanks and not kept in groups or colonies, they just sort of die off one by one, and then we are where we are now.
And it's hard when a new fish comes in, because because they're probably quite expensive fish. They might have only bought in 15 or 20, right? So then they go on the wholesale list, and then maybe 5 shops might buy them. So there's only 5 or 6 left, and then unless a pleco breeder is in with every single wholesaler or shop, and ready to invest some serious money at that very point in time, because I'm assuming they would have been $150, $200 fish, or were they cheaper than that when they first came in? I don't know.
I don't know.
You're still talking $1,500, $2,000 minimum to buy the whole lot to try and get the males and females, and then, like you say, maybe they could be all males. So it's a real tricky one. And this is the type of thing that needs to happen, otherwise we lose them. And then all bets go into that one person to try and keep them going.
So in my travels, I've found now 2 people with groups. Prior to yesterday, I was only assuming one person had a group, and I wasn't aware of any females. But I've in my travels now found 2 people with females, so that's a positive sign for this fish. But whether or not they're spawning, whether or not they're being pushed out to the market, all that kind of stuff I'm not sure. So it's better than none, at least. So
certainly better than none. No, that makes sense. There's a good little story. It's well worth for the listeners. Well worth having a little Google on it. Just looking up some pictures on that, because it is quite a cool looking fish. Very interesting.
Why is it called a leopard frog?
I don't know. I think maybe the frog is the shape of the body. It's quite rounded, but I genuinely got no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's one of those ones that I mean, it's got that name, but it seems like someone just put
Yeah, it's not really spotty.
random word
It's
generator or
different.
something.
It's different, but it's similar-ish to a zebra pleco, eh? Like it looks like, in Google it looks like they're white and black, but your one was yellow and brown, right?
Yeah, they're more cream colors.
Yeah.
Totally different. If there is anyone listening that has a female and that wants to join a male to their female, please let me know. I'd far rather it go to someone that's got a female to try and put that together if I can. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Gonna have a crack here for that as well.
Yeah. So yeah, the odds of that someone having a female probably quite slim. But if there is someone that's got a female and they're looking at a male, they want to spawn them, please get in contact with me.
And what other fish did you get then?
I got a single Rio Kayali. I'm butchering that name. So an orange seam pleco.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they've been on my hunt down list for a while now. Redwater Aquatics had them. They had 4 of them, but they were all males. I was hoping to pick up a male and a female. All they had was males at the time. I picked up a group of calico bristlenose.
No, you've been looking for them for a while.
That's cool.
I've been looking for them for a while, so they're still young. They'll still
Long
take
or short
another year. Short fin. So I'm still looking for the long fin one.
But you could always create them if you needed to from your other ones anyway.
Could do, but it's easier just to buy them to start with.
If you can find them.
No one wants a challenge. Like, challenges are way too hard. It's just easier to buy something. And then I picked up a breeding group of starlights and a whole bunch of juvies that go with it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did you not have starlights?
No.
Oh.
I've either always bought them and then sold them, or something's gone wrong, like I've overdosed flubendazole or something stupid like that, and they've all kind of just not made it to where they need to be. So,
alive.
Yeah, that's always a helpful thing if you're trying to make
not made it to being alive.
Yeah,
it's a good start.
Yeah. Cam up here was telling me that they are apparently quite hard to race.
Yeah, stupid fish to race.
Apparently they die off at a certain age, or there can be quite mortality rates. I don't know for sure, but that's just what Cam was telling me.
Yeah, I've never done it myself, but I was talking to a pleco guy who was telling me about it.
They don't like moving. They don't like moving when they're small as well. And so, like, I don't know how many times I've bought them, and I guess price is determined. I've bought them because they've been small, and then like the mortality rate after moving them has been astronomically high. I've now learnt my lesson that when they're this big, they're too small to move.
See, I thought they were just cool-looking bristlenoses. Like they would be exactly the same, but they're obviously completely different species and completely different.
Yeah,
obviously, but yeah,
a bit going on.
I wonder if they're closer to wild or closer to than the bristlenoses, because bristlenoses are obviously like F100 million now, I'd say, in the hobby.
No, I'd say these guys are pretty much like that as well. I wouldn't have thought they'd be that close to wild caught. And there's some, or possibly all of them, have been crossed with peppermint plecos as well, which is a slightly different variation as well.
Yeah, and that's similar to bristlenoses, where there's like so many ancestors that are very close together, and they've probably all been crossed just to make a bristlenose. So we don't actually know what the bristlenoses are as such.
Yeah. Like you
somewhere, a couple of places in the world, there'll be someone who has 100, 200 tanks full of different ancestors, and knows exactly what they all are.
Yeah.
But we don't.
Yeah, like some of the you see some bristlenose and you look at it and go, and that looks totally different to the one that I saw last week, sort of thing. So
some of them get just different coloration. They get different sizes, way larger bristles.
Yeah.
You know, like I've had 15, 20 centimeter male bristlenoses before that are just massive things, and some of them don't get that big. Females that get giant, you know, males that get these big, massive Medusa-looking bloody growths on their head. And you're like, what is that? Females that get bristles. Yeah.
Medusas are so ugly, but they're so cool at the same time.
Yeah, they're definitely not for everyone, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely a face a mother could love.
I'm gonna have to Google it. I think I know what you're talking about, but
Medusa plico.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, but
there was some floating around a few months ago.
Yeah, some got imported recently.
Yeah, they're an ugly looking thing, aren't they? They're quite a fat thing.
Yeah. I think the common name for them might also be a chubby plico, but I could be wrong.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're cool. They're actually quite cool. I think they're ugly cool.
They're definitely a face a mother could love sort of cool.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Ryan just said that a plico was cool. We've got that on record as well. Holy shit!
But
I'm gonna remix
still
that.
Doesn't mean you're ever gonna see. Still doesn't mean you're ever gonna see it, but that's a different story.
Oh, he's backtracking now. He's on the defensive. Oh, I can't believe I just called a plico cool. Oh no!
The world's gonna explode. I won't call discus cool, even though you guys continue to make their background those discus.
To be fair, it is a good video.
Oh wait, yes, it was to do with me.
But yeah, for me,
Cameron,
the only thing I have is I have a little follow up to the story I told you the last week or the week before. I had in my the tank for selling the plants out of. I had this random fry pop up, and I didn't know what it was. It was just like a little when they're real little, it's just like a little grey speck. You can't really tell. But we did have a sort of suspicion that it might be an ember tetra. And on what day was that? On Saturday it was. One of the growers who grows most of my plants, he came in just to drop some of my plants off, and I showed him and we were discussing, and he reckons it was an ember tetra from one of his tanks where he's been trying to spawn ember tetras, but hasn't been having success because he said one of the plants he bought in, he trimmed out of that tank, so at the same time. So in all likelihood, it was an ember tetra. So I gave it back to him.
And he has had some success.
Yeah, he's had one. So he's like, at least it means everything's breeding and there's males and females and they're viable and everything like that. It just means something's eating the eggs or something. So
I do have a story. Actually. Last night, someone came over to buy some fish, and I was sitting on the floor catching fish as you do, and I looked into my Judochromis malariae tank and saw a fry.
Oh, nice.
So the weird thing with them is the only experience I've ever had, and I've kept these fish for probably 20 years. They're awesome fish. I love them. But whenever they pair off, they've paired off because every single other fish in the tank is smashed in up the top corner of the tank, and if you don't get in quick enough, they're all dead. And they were the one that I started off with 10 of them happy in a tank, and then when I went to pull them out, there was only 4. And I was like, oh my God, what's happened? They've all died. I didn't even notice any bodies. They just vanished. So I was a bit worried about them. So I put 4 into this tank, thinking that hopefully, but I've been waiting for the 2 of the 4 to start cowering in the corners and be torn up and destroyed to be the indication that the other ones are a pair and have bred. And for some reason, the 4 of them are getting along. So it's very weird.
Maybe they're just a happy swinging couple.
Never seen it before. It's the type of thing that's just going to go to crap one day. But I think
I'll try until then.
There's one there. I don't know if there's any more, but there's one.
Surely, if there's one, there's more hiding.
In my experience too, the pair won't eat the fry, but I'm wondering if the other 2 are. So I still have to identify which ones the pair are and pull the other 2 out, just to try and get better survival rates. But they're basically vanished at the moment, so it'll be good to get them back out there.
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, they're very cool fish.
No, they're
I
not.
need to get some Regani as well though. So whenever one of you orders from Brooklands, let me know.
Yeah, I don't know if they have any left, but we'll see what we can do.
Oh, bugger! They sold out quick, eh?
Yeah, well, hopefully it means that they're just becoming more popular.
Yeah.
So you're saying that I should have bought them from the pet shop when I was down in Christchurch?
No, I was just saying you should. I was saying you should have checked to see if they were there with the
I
supplier.
might have to
but
go around the pet shops and see if there's any left somewhere in Auckland. That would suck.
Well,
Have you
text me
tried the
later today
aquarium
and I'll
project?
look it
They're
up.
pretty good at African cichlids.
Don't think they
I
ordered any.
didn't get any.
All right.
Whew, excuse me. But yeah,
He's still trying to move on like 600 altos.
I thought you were going to say giraffes for a second then.
no, those
he's
you know,
just
I've started
played that game.
I've started having people asking about them, so it's crazy.
Giraffes?
It's like, yeah,
They've
like
recovered. They've recovered from that issue.
I had like hundreds of them last year, and now people want more. Crazy stuff. Where do the people put all these fish?
Just back to your ember
I don't think
tetras.
people want to know.
When I was speaking to David Duda in the States that breeds tetras, basically said they're one of the tetras you can just put into a tank and sort of close your eyes, wake up again, and they'll basically naturally repopulate themselves like diamond tetras in quite good numbers. So they can tell you spawn once they've started, that might be them, and they'll just trigger away at their own time if they've got no predators in the tank.
And stop pulling the plants out of that tank.
Yeah.
Or have an intermediate tank if you're going to pull the plants out. Put them in another tank for a couple of weeks until there's no unless there's any fry in there, you can pop them out and get rid of the tank of plants.
Well, hopefully they'll be breeding fast enough where the odd fry moving on won't matter. That's the plan. So yeah, but no, that it is a cool little story always when the little fish
You
just
can't
pop out of nowhere.
segue into the main topic without the random question.
Well, no, we are, because you guys have been complaining nonstop about the content, and we're kind of already talking about it. So we are.
No, we haven't. No, we haven't been. Stop fucking making stuff up.
You can't not do the
Use my
random
language.
question. So that's the thing.
No, we are
What
just
about
moving.
What
about
about
our
22 minutes without swearing? So I'm a good boy. I deserve a reward of a random question.
Well, that just
What
is
about our
false
listeners? What
information.
about our listeners' comments, questions? Do we have a listener's question?
So I'm not going to lie to you guys. We have not had any listener mail.
Okay, so then
the
we
only
can
one. Oh no, we had another one. What the hell was it? We had another funny one about no, someone wants to make us a website.
Oh yeah.
What is it? Redesigned graphic design and website design, web development is the services included.
Did you reply and say what was the question?
No, I did not. And he also said their pricing is very reasonable. So
are you assuming their gender, or is it actually a male?
No, it actually was a man. But yeah, so I mean,
is their price free?
Somehow I doubt it.
Well, then it's too much for us.
But I'm gonna use this moment to say,
do the random question.
You guys have it. Can you guys shut the fuck up?
No.
So, if you guys have any questions or stories or anything you'd like to say that you would like to be read out on the podcast, you can be anonymous if you want. I guess there's no need to put your name or anything, but you can send through an email to podcast3idiots@gmail.com, and we will definitely read it out, because I'm not going to lie to you guys, it's not like you're competing with that much other information. If you send an email, it's pretty much guaranteed yours will get picked. And if it doesn't get picked, it'll get picked the next week.
That's an interesting idea. Matt has suggested that maybe the web designers will take intentional guppies as payment. So,
what about unintentional ones?
Nah, ain't nobody got time for unintentional guppies.
Well, I don't know. We can ask. I'll reply to this guy, at our
Yeah,
own risk of just absolutely flooding us with spam by replying to him. But
maybe you should
I'll ask this guy, what do you
and
reckon?
say this sounds very appealing. We'd like this. We've been doing our intentional guppies manifestation, and now we have an abundance of them. What sort of deal can we do?
How many guppies for a website?
Yeah.
That
And point
is
out
like
that you need to point out that they're intentional guppies too. They need to make the distinction there. Okay.
that is a very deep question. How many guppies equals one website?
Hey, have you noticed that like every time you say you're going to skip something, we make such a big deal about it? If you just done it to start with, we'd be through it by now.
Well, if you just
It's kind of
follow
like-
the, we've
Have
been
you guys
talking about
noticed
this. You
that
need to
spend
follow the
all day
procedure.
literally complaining about how long it takes to get into the thing, and then
It's
whenever I try
kind of
to
like
Neither-
my kids when they don't want to do something, I say,
Neither
"Just
of
do it."
us have complained about that. You've complained about that, so that's why you're trying not to do
Ham
it.
has specifically complained about it.
No, he said he thinks it's part of the thing, part of the show.
Well, because we're trying to do. If I'm trying to be in charge of the content side of things, then you need to actually let me do stuff.
But
Otherwise,
to be honest, I'm avoiding the topic because I've got nothing on my mind at the moment, and I want to do the intentional question, the intentional random question.
well, we're not doing that because we need to actually get into the main topic. It's been 25 minutes. So, what would how about we start with I'll start and I'll give you guys a second to have a think. If Ryan's cannot think of a single fish in all of the world, cannot think of a single thing. So you could think of any African cichlid. Like you could look
I
behind you.
feel like this
You're
is
the only
kind
one
of
sitting in front of a tank that could
This is-
actually choose something.
this is kind of yeah, that's exactly right, Thomas.
Yeah.
Says they're going to do stuff, sets all
Bloody
these
politician.
expectations, it makes all these agreements, and then just doesn't do it just because he can't be bothered, and then talks around the question. Yeah,
We'd be done by now. We would be done by now. And into your topic.
and that's what the
All right.
people want. You said to people, maybe you're going to get flooded with emails saying where was the intentional random question.
I'm not gonna lie. No matter what we do, there's literally no way we will ever get flooded by emails unless it's replying to a spammer and then just getting
Yeah,
flooded that
yeah.
way. I'm
Yeah,
not
even-
like I'd love to
even
be
if-
proved wrong, but unfortunately, I just don't think that we that kind of a size yet.
Even if
where
every
people
single
will say
listener
things.
emails us, it won't be a flood.
Yeah, it'll be like one email comes through and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah,
Not that we're
yeah.
not grateful for you guys, but this email idea is we're struggling with the content. But
Just like the merch. The merch is a struggle street.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. One day we're going to sell a T-shirt. I have faith. It'll be in like 20 years, and it will be someone buying it for a joke, but could be worse. But yeah, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so
What's your random question?
we're not doing it.
Well, you've
but-
wasted 5 minutes now. We could have been into the main topic if you just asked a random question.
Shut up. But so the idea of the main idea for the episode was I just thought a lot of times kind of just in day-to-day life for us, be it something we see on the internet or some random thing that we talk to someone who's got or anything, there's a lot of like really just random interesting fish that's not something that you'd often think about. It's kind of like wow. And then you get into this thing where you kind of think about it a lot, like learning about different facts about the fish or different ideas about how to set up tanks for it and that kind of thing. And I thought that would kind of be a fun thing to talk about because, like, to be honest, it's something different. And one of the most important parts of the hobby is enjoying these random fish that, let's be honest, are just weird. Like, no one's ever going to be thinking about them. So I thought I will start. I'll give you guys a second to actually come up with some ideas of different fish you might want to talk about. But the first thing that I've been thinking about this week is those the little rainbow fish, like the threadfin rainbow fish that are they're kind of like, I don't know how you describe them. They're like kind of yellow but with like bits of blue, and then they just got like it just looks like they got random fins coming off all over the place. And I think they're really cool little fish, but I will kind of defer to Cam about any more in-depth information about them because, to be honest, I don't know a ton. But yeah, they're pretty cool little things. So I don't know if you want to start, Cam, with a
They're
little
still
bit
around. I haven't seen them for ages.
I had some maybe 6 months ago, but I saw a picture of one. Someone actually, one of the people who bought some a few months ago sent me a picture of them, and that's why. But yeah, what are some of the basic facts of them, Cam, that you'd need to know?
About what?
The
random question?
threadfin rainbows.
You told them to shut up
Hello?
because they're
Yeah.
still waiting for the random question.
How about I do the random question? What's your favorite restaurant?
Oh, okay. I'm really digging a Malaysian restaurant up here in Auckland.
Malaysian.
Is it in Auckland or is it in Helensville? Those things aren't the
No,
same.
it's well in Helensville we have a plethora of fine dining experiences, usually frequented by the Methies and all the other random people in Helensville. But no,
The cows.
dining is not really a strong point. There is some good. There's not really a restaurant in Helensville anyway. They're all takeaway shops. So there you go. The pub closed down. So we really need to go and sit down and eat. The Indian restaurant, I
The
guess,
pub closed down.
and the Thai restaurant. Yeah, the pub closed down. Yeah,
That's like
I don't
literally the
understand.
only business you'd imagine would be good and would do good in Helensville.
The backbone of Helensville. But I think it's called Kung Pan in Albany. It's pretty good at the moment. I like that one. But I don't really go to the same restaurant often. I'll always just go and try something different, something new.
What a humble guy.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going out, I was really like, oh, well, where can we go? Go somewhere different.
Makes sense.
And I don't really get the chance to eat. I don't really go. I like to, but I don't really go to barbecue restaurants because my partner's a vegetarian. So it's always
That
about
would be everyone.
trying to find something for her, or seafood restaurants or anything like that, because it's like, yeah, she would not like that. So
Yeah.
and I'm not fussy, so I eat pretty much everything. So I can find something at every restaurant.
Cool.
Fair enough.
What about you, Cam?
I don't know. I don't really go to restaurants, but there's this Indian place kind of near my house that I quite like. But yeah, I don't really go to restaurants very much because they like cook a lot. So
You
yeah,
sent me to a really cool Japanese place once. That was real good. It wasn't really a restaurant. It was more takeaway type cafe style.
yeah.
I forgot the name of that. That was real good.
I don't remember the name of that either, but yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Like, there's a little bit further away, like maybe 10, 15 minutes drive, eh?
Down Takapuna.
Yeah. Sweet as. What about you,
Okay.
Cam?
There's a place down here called Eastern Cuisine. I like it because he's one of my customers, and he buys fish from me, and I buy food from him. So it's win-win situation. Except there's
Eastern
always-
cuisine. What does Eastern cuisine do in the way of food? What is Eastern cuisine?
It's mainly Asian style stuff.
So is it Asian? Does he do the classic Asian Indian fusion food?
There is some of that,
Curries
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's also orange beef, which my wife particularly likes, which is why we go back there. But we always forget that they're closed on Monday, and if we're normally going to go out, it's generally Monday because that's your day off.
I hate that. Helensville does exactly the same thing. Everything's closed on Monday, and I say to them all, you should close Tuesday and open Monday because then everyone will come to you on a Monday.
Yeah, because everyone else is closed.
Everyone else is closed, and you'll do 10 times the business. But apparently, it's not a good idea because no one does it. So, yeah.
Yep. Well, yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit about the threadfin rainbows, Cam? About what some people might need to know about them.
Ridiculously cool little fish. I think they do better in either a species only tank or a tank more designed for them and other smaller type fish.
They look like they'd be a little bit fragile. Though.
Yeah.
Like if you put them in with some with some barbs or something, they would not have a good time.
Pretty much, yeah. So if you can keep
This
a little bit
person who
more,
sent me the picture just had like otters, and I think there was it. Like, not really. Like, I don't know how to explain, but not really a fish.
not really a
If
fish
you know
fish,
what I mean. Yeah, like a bit of a different kind of fish.
like an axolotl.
Not quite on that same level, but similar idea.
Or a shark. Or a dolphin.
Exactly.
You can generally load the bottom of the tank up with stuff like cories and catfish and stuff like that because they don't spend a lot of time down there. But in your open water space, if you want to try and keep that a bit more calm and relaxed for them to feel more comfortable, obviously do really well with plants hanging around, gives them a bit of refuge, gives them a wee spawning site. Small food goes well because they are small fish. So little micro pellets is a good option, little live BBS or frozen cyclops, that sort of stuff is kind of cool. There's lots of sort of slight variations of the pseudotropheus rainbow fish. There's 4 or 5 of them hanging around the country, which is kind of cool. They're all cool within their own
What
right.
did you say? Pseudotropheus?
Pseudotropheus, that's not, I think that's how they're pronounced, or am I thinking something
The
different?
pseudomacil. Pseudotropheus is like African cichlids.
Yeah,
There you
Pseudotropheus
go.
is like a zebra. I think they don't even use it anymore. It's all like
It's a very different
thing.
thing.
Turns out I've got African
Pseudotropheus.
cichlids on my
They
mind.
used to be Demasoni used to be Pseudotropheus.
There you go.
But now they are Chidungo for some reason. Don't even know what Chidungo is. It's a new one they made up.
Well, maybe you can talk about it when it's your turn.
So yeah,
Yeah. But yeah,
Well-
no, they're cool little things for sure. I think they're really
This
they got-
has some what fish would you like to be vibes to me.
what? Rainbows.
You're kind of like thinking about what fish you want to be almost. You're almost trying to slide that shit topic back in, I think.
Well, you can approach the question however you like. But no, the thing I was gonna say is they're worth a Google if you're not sure what they look like. They got all these weird little like, they got fins coming off on all random angles and like different shapes and sizes and everything like that. It's quite it doesn't look like a lot of fish.
it's
You
weird.
know, like it's very unique looking.
A lot going on.
Yeah, and they get that nice color and everything. I mean,
Rainbow
almost
fish are
looks like
weird,
aliens or something.
Rainbow fish are weird because they're like you can get those like you get those little tiny little ones that almost got no color but they've got a cool eye or whatever, and then you can get real massive ones that are like red and completely different shape and stuff. I wonder how they actually define them as a rainbow fish, like when they're all so completely different.
And they're all
Yeah.
random shaped as well. Like some are
Yeah.
giant and weird little humps on them, and others are like little bullets.
Although I don't think the term rainbow fish is probably a scientific definition, is it?
No.
They wouldn't be. So that's probably just something that the hobbyists have done, like saying that's an African cichlid. That's not an African cichlid type thing, you know.
Yeah.
Also,
But
funny
at least they're
is
similar. Like
funny
a lot of the rainbows don't even look ballpark similar to each other.
no, they don't. Funny thing is also there's a New Zealand African cichlid page, and people have to name an African cichlid to join, and probably 75% of the people do not name African cichlids. They like convicts or Oscars, or some people even be like arowanas and stuff like that. It's so funny. Like, you can't even Google and get an African cichlid. I approve them anyway, just for comical value, but I do think it's funny.
Yeah,
Not everyone
makes
can
sense.
be as high and mighty as you when it comes to African cichlids.
It doesn't matter, man. Fish is
Just
a fish.
name one.
Close
Just
enough.
say it if
Well, I clearly just tried to name a rainbow fish and I called it an African cichlid, so mistakes happen.
It's probably up there with your ram, Sean.
Nah, I'm dying on that hill. That's the right way of putting it.
Ram, Sean. The Sean Ram. The Sean Ram.
The right way.
Smells.
Yeah, that's the right way of putting it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, who wants to go next? Have you come up with anything, Cam?
Well, I haven't really been thinking about too much. I've been getting frustrated at my L168s. Does that count? They've been in my mind a lot because I'm like, why aren't you spawning, you little shits?
That
Make some
doesn't
fish
count.
babies.
I won't allow it.
Okay. I'm in the process of setting up a jewel tank where I'm looking at diamond tetras. Does that count?
That does. Tell me about diamond tetras.
They look like diamonds. No, they're a cool little tetra.
If you gave one to your missus and said, "Look, see, I've given you a diamond," do you think they'd appreciate it?
Well, if they like fish, probably.
But like, yeah, I might try that.
Put it in their tank in the classroom.
I don't know how well to go. Also,
all but extinct in the wild.
Also, that tank there, we forgot or mistimed it for 2 weeks without a water change or feeding them, and they're all fine. So it was awesome. I loved it, and they all looked like they weren't skinny or torn apart or anything. So that's weird.
Not eating each other?
No, they're all good. So I was like, wow, I wouldn't have thought you could leave them for 2 weeks without anything. I mean, obviously we didn't do it it wasn't intentional neglect. It was unintentional neglect. We were trying to go in every week and do a water change and feed them, but yeah, we left it for a while over Christmas and they were sweet as. So cool. There you go. Don't have to stress too much.
There's one of those things you can definitely leave a lot of fish a lot longer without intervention than I think a lot of people kind of realize, you know. It makes a lot more makes life a lot more easy than, you know, dealing with the slow release feeder things or like all this other kind of crap.
I think
just
people cause themselves more trouble by like overfeeding before they leave, or trying to put an automatic feeder on, or letting random people that don't know how much food to feed their fish feed them and things like that, then not feeding them. You know, because obviously food goes down, waste goes down. You know, this tank also has those golden pothos that you gave me growing out of the top of it, and I'm not sure if that makes a difference. Probably sucks some nutrients out of the tank, makes it a bit cleaner.
Certainly wouldn't hurt.
It's going pretty hard.
Nice. So, yeah. But yeah, going back to those diamond tetras, they're ones that I reckon like over the past maybe like year and a half seems to have just kind of exploded in popularity. Like everyone seems to be kind of asking about them. Everyone seems to love them, especially in like, you know, planted tanks and that, because they got that real kind of shiny, like silvery kind of sparkly texture to them, which obviously contrasts. Yeah, but indeed, but it contrasts really nicely and stands out nicely with like pretty much anything. Like it's a bit more versatile in terms of like the things you can actually do with them. You know, rather than being limited to the reds or the blues or whatever. So yeah, that's a good choice. I like it. What are you thinking for this tank? Just like a big group of them?
Yeah, well, I've got a few of them at the back at the moment. So maybe 2 years ago, I began planning a Orinoco type setup. So it's probably going to go down that route a little bit. I think it was after I spoke to Ivan McColgie about the Orinoco and all that kind of stuff, when his book came out, that kind of thing. So like I've bookmarked a few various pages of different species that I was looking into. So I'm thinking I might use a whole bunch of Anubias because I've got a whole bunch of it around, which isn't obviously Orinoco based, but it is what it is. And then
Plants of plant.
Yeah.
Have you?
Well, no, not really.
Have you bred the diamond tetras or no?
I picked up locally someone who had been breeding them, so I picked up about 150 or 200 of them, plus as breeders. So I'll keep the breeders for myself. I'll put some in this display tank, and then I'll move the rest on and start spawning from them when I'm ready.
Yeah, if you've got 150, you've probably got enough for now. But
probably, yeah. I don't need to worry about them for, I would suspect, at least a few months.
Yeah. So, yeah. Although if they're popular and you can do them at a good price, it always helps.
And often when a fish are on display, people see them when they're looking nice and get inspired by them, all that kind of stuff. So that'll be.
We've spoken about this a lot. Obviously, often a retail fish is smaller, less colourful, and you have to use your imagination.
Yeah.
I come up against that all the time selling African cichlids. I'll be selling little males that are just starting to get their colour and showing them the big adult breeders, and they're like, I want the breeder. And I'm like, well, no, you get that fish. And they're like, oh, I don't want that one, I want that one. And I'm like, well, patience,
Yeah.
patience, grasshopper. Manifest your intentions into this fish, and it will grow. And they come back and go, oh, that fish I got a few. It went brown and didn't get any colour. And I go, yeah, give it time. Maybe in a year it'll colour up. Maybe it won't. Who knows? Be like regardless.
I'm
exactly.
certain to not whether I put a second species of tetra in there with them or just leave it as them as the main mid-swimming fish or not.
What would be your
You're
other?
Gonna do one of your. You're gonna do a poo-poo tank in there, like where it's all murky and stuff, and you can't see them.
Well, again, that's where I'm not sure. Like, part of the river is black water and dark. The other part of it is crystal clear, and where they're predominantly, or they've just recently found a group of the diamond tetras at the crystal clear. But then to pair a fish to go into that with it would mean that I'd need to possibly use tinted water. So, like, I'm just a little bit unsure of how precise I go down with this. The other option for mid-swimming fish would be red phantoms.
Yeah, that's a good option. They're very cool fish.
Yeah,
you just put African cichlids with them. Just put them in hard water and put African cichlids with them. That'd be fine.
Well, no, I'm not going to do that.
Can't argue with that.
How big do they get?
About 5-6 centimeters.
No, so they're quite a big, robust year. Yeah, they're big. They'll be like the Colombian tetras we used to get with my Africans, and the rainbow fish I used to get with my Africans, all that sort of stuff.
So, like, you're not supposed to. One of the more common bigger cichlids that live with them are blue acaras, and German rams. Yeah, so I'm not sure if I want to go down.
Germany, do they?
The German rams, absolutely, they do.
So, but they live with these tetras, and where?
Yeah, so I'm sure you're enjoying the concept of common names here.
You said that the German ram lives in where do these fish come from?
Yeah, so the normal standard German rams, which are
you mean the blue rams? Oh, you mean blue rams?
You know how people use common names and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was just clarification.
Yeah, so one of those two will go with it. Either the Germans or the blue acaras. I'm not certain just yet, and we'll go from there.
How big's the tank?
It's 4 foot, which is why I'm on the fence about the blue acara.
Yeah, they do get big. They're cool fish.
They are, but they do get big. So, yeah.
Decisions, eh?
Yeah. German rams, diamond tetras, bronze cories might be the way to go. I'm not sure yet. I'll work it out.
Yeah, see how you get along.
Just put those orange cories in there. They're cool. The ones with the lines on them.
The Venezuelan orange?
No, the skunk ones. The ones with the lines on them. Is the skunk?
Skunks have lines. So do gold lasers.
Yeah.
A lot of them have lines, to be fair.
Yeah.
No, the one with the big line, like one big line on it.
I think you're talking about this, like what we talked about like 3 weeks ago, whenever that was.
They're cool. I googled them. They're cool. Those ones. You put those ones in.
Yeah. I've got a couple species of cories hanging around that would fit the build, so we'll just see how we go.
Facebook user said ram's the worst fish. I agree and disagree. They're one fish that if you do really well with, it's awesome, but they do have a tendency just to drop dead. So they can be very weak. And they just get random stuff, like just random growths on their heads and stuff, and gasp and end up on the bottom of a tank and die. Just randomly. It seems to be what they do. I'm not sure why or how.
Just sensitive fish, I reckon.
Yeah. Probably kept in the wrong conditions, and probably just a really are really inbred fish as well. So probably a double-edged sword with them. You're probably getting something that is in the wrong environment, and it's not very strong to start with.
This Facebook user is screaming out Braxton.
Weak, boring, right up on the list with Crebensis. Yeah.
Well,
Use
I'll
what?
click on the
Screaming
thing and I'll find out who it is.
Use laxatives. Loxozonis. What's loxozonis? Jesus. That's
It's
too
a
much
type of
for early
Cory.
morning. Oh, yeah. Have you got loxozonis?
That is Braxton.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't think I've got any Loxos hanging around.
Bring the hate, Braxton. Bring the hate.
Yep, but what's yours, Ryan? What fish have you been thinking about recently?
I think of all the fish, so I'm really struggling to even get an idea.
Just pick a fish to talk about.
I've been thinking, why are my stupid Kawanga Golds not able to make babies?
Is that because you've got no females to go with them?
There was one male and 5 females. Now there's one male and 2 females. They're just slowly dying off, but they hold. They just don't produce any viable fry.
Is it that they're not producing fry, or that they're just like eating them or something?
Unlikely that all 5 of them are bad mums.
Yep, makes sense.
And all 5 of
Just-
them were holding. So
Just
you've been to
infertile
Helensville, what are the
male or
odds of that
something.
there?
what's that?
I said you've been to Helensville. What are the odds of that there?
No comment
Um,
about the socio-economic status of Helensville.
But you reckon it might just be like an infertile male or something like that?
Yeah. There has been some discussions, which I probably should investigate again, of injecting them with some hormones and seeing if that kicks them off. But the people that I know that inject their fish with hormones inject big fish with hormones, like 20 kilo fish, probably not that big, maybe 10, 15 kilo fish, like carps,
Like koi
and
and stuff.
big carps and stuff. Yeah, not koi, because koi are illegal, but grass carps and
They
stuff
could
like
be
that.
overseas people.
Yeah. So he was concerned about the size of the fish and the size of the needle and the size of the dosage required, not killing the fish.
What family are they?
I'm not sure exactly what they are now, but they're a zebra.
Have
I think
you
they might
thought
be
about
Metroclima.
Have you thought about putting a couple of random zebra females in there and seeing if they produce anything? And then
I
have
have
you
not.
considered putting a random male of some similar family in with the females producing from there, growing out the offspring, and then crossing them back into the male, and then slowly but surely line breeding it back in?
No,
Well, why not?
it's a waste of time.
You're a waste of time.
You could
Thanks.
do it to identify where the issue is. Like if you put a different male in and then make generates viable fry, then you'll know it's the male is causing the trouble, or vice versa, or that.
I mean, guppy
Could do.
breeders spend all that time working on lines and crossing things out and putting back things over and stuff like that. Why can't you?
They're breeding the same species, though.
Why can't you?
Because I don't have any more Kawanga Golds, the same species, so I can't do it.
That's a poor excuse.
Yeah, I'm just not that keen on a 10-year project, and then they still won't be pure, so what's the point?
How long you had them for now?
A long time.
So what, 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah, be about that, yeah.
So you're about 30-40% of the way through what could have been the project if you'd started it already. Gosh,
To
right,
make hybrids.
Sort it out.
I don't want to make hybrids. It's all
Well, you
good.
make hybrids already. With your dirty old OBs and your dirty old other things.
Okay, I do make intentional hybrids. I was going to say not intentional hybrids, but I do with OBs and Dragon's Bloods, yes.
Why don't you try and OB them?
Because I've got OB Mambuna.
Do you have golden OB Mbuna?
No, I do not.
There's an option.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the fish that's been on my mind, and I want to punch it in the face, really.
That's not going to help it.
Yeah, that might cause more trouble than it solves, to be honest.
Pulling out of the water. Give it a hiding. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll make it want to breed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Or
no,
sometimes animals do get triggered into breeding for survival. So maybe that's what it needs. It needs to just be stressed a bit, you know.
makes sense. Well, if you do that, we'll I guess revisit this later if you with some results if you get into that. But for
Yeah.
I think
now,
my
I'm just
options
gonna
are
say
far better
probably
off
don't
than
punch your fish in the face.
Probably not recommended.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
my ideas were way better than punching a fish. In the grand scheme of things.
Yep. Yeah, no, makes sense. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
a
mean,
Braxton comment right there, isn't it?
well, do you want to read it out for the listeners?
A little bleach.
Braxton has said, lower the water and add a little bleach. There's some stress, but also death. So defeats the purpose.
Not
Kind of like
ideal.
kind of like my suggestion of punching a fish in the face. Probably going to kill it, unless it's a big fish, and then you're probably going to punch you back in the face with its tail or something.
Indeed. But yeah, what? Oh no, it's my turn now, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
I dodged it.
you what? Sorry.
I dodged it. Your turn.
You dodged.
Indeed. But yeah, so the thing I was wanting to add for my next suggestion is something that actually it was similar in that one of you guys who listens to the podcast actually came in the other day and was showing me a video of your ones in your tank, which is always fun times. So yeah, but the fish that I wanted to talk about was the albino crebensis because they are like your normal crebensis is a bit, shall we say, boring. Like they're cool fish, but they're all over the place. But
They're
I think
actually underrated. I'd say underrated because they are, especially females. If you get a really nice one, they're actually a really cool fish. The
yeah,
problem
man.
is I think they breed without water, and that's the problem with them. There's just so many of them. You know,
You
like
just
you
keep
could probably
just keep
they're
one by itself, and
the
they
Malaysian trumpet
look
snails
awesome.
of the fish world. You know,
Exactly. Yeah, but I mean, just keep one of them, and they'll look awesome. But particularly the albinos, they're just really cool looking things, and it makes a really good, easy feature fish for like 99% of tanks. Like they don't get that big. They don't really get that aggressive unless they're breeding or like you keep them with other cichlids and that you might have trouble. But keep them with like some tetras or barbs or something like that. That would be peaceful as anything, and they look really, really cool. Like I think
Yeah, I don't know.
it's a good addition. Do you what?
I don't
Sorry,
know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just googling
don't know what.
images. I'm googling images of them.
You don't know in
think
what sense?
I think the albinoism of them takes away from what
the color.
of the prettiness of the crebensis, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand that.
I think
I
it
know.
makes them a little more drab.
I mean,
With
there's some
white
pretty
hair.
cool. There's some pretty cool ones on Google though, where they've got the color as well. But then, would they actually look like that? Probably not.
I think
Probably
a lot of these
enhanced.
pictures don't look quite as cool as they do in real life with that big, like, because probably, to be honest, if you're doing just a feature fish, you'd want a female, so you get that big purple patch, which most of those pictures don't seem to really have. And they get that kind of like goldy, yellowy gold on the around the fins, which looks quite cool. So yeah, I mean they're a cool fish, I think. But I mean, if you prefer the other ones, like the normal standard ones, go to town on them. You can't really go wrong.
I don't. You can go wrong.
You can
Add a
definitely
male
go wrong.
and a female, and you've gone wrong.
Yeah, just do one. It'll be good.
I do laugh every time I see someone on Facebook like, "Oh, trade crebensis for anything, for for nothing. I'll pay you to take them."
The thing is, people always ask me like, "Oh, don't you just get overwhelmed with guppies? Like they breed so fast in that." But people always want guppies. You can always move guppies, so it's not really a problem. But Crebensis, like I'd get more Crebensis traded in than guppies, and the problem is no one really wants them. So you just end up getting stuck with them, or that kind of thing, which is not ideal. And I think is a bit of the service to such a cool looking fish and such a fun looking fish. So I think they're one that especially if you built a tank around them and didn't just like chuck them into any old random tank, it would be really, really cool. Like you could make something really awesome, I think, and different.
Blackwater, Congo tetras, Pantolon butterflies, Crebensis, job done.
I
Yeah,
think
pretty much.
Crebensis are blackwater
fun.
fish, are they?
They are if I want them to be.
I thought they were from
Anything can be.
Are they from Africa? Am I wrong? Where are they from?
They do have trees in Africa, Ryan. I hate to break it to you. I hate to break it to you, man. But oh my god, almost
That
killed.
could be the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
That is a low bar.
They come from Nigeria.
They do have trees in Africa. That's good. That is right up there with one of the best things
I
I've ever seen.
actually didn't realise that they had trees in Africa, so I'm a little bit shocked. You've just blown my mind.
But yeah, no. So that's my idea. What about you? You Cam, what do you think? What's your next option?
I'm not really thinking about much other than what I've already said.
Sick. Well, how about you, Ryan?
I just cut out, and I missed what Cam said. Just cut out. What did you say, Cam?
I said I'm not really thinking about much more than what I already was thinking about. Which was the diamond tetra tank that I'm looking at playing around.
You can just pick something though.
I can.
I'm wondering why my Tropheus Firefox have started just killing each other off when they had large numbers, and very confusing. And I'm also wondering why the really cool AliExpress light that I bought on there just randomly makes the tank different colors, like it's red at the moment,
like a disco.
And then sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and then it's yellow or green.
It's because it's just preparing the fish for the apocalypse.
Well, I think there is a timer built into it that does all that, and I have not set it up correctly, obviously. I haven't actually tried. I was just mashing the buttons until it went white, and it randomly goes white during the day, so that's okay. And I haven't seen it white at night, so yeah, that's my story
So I
about
suppose it could be worse.
Firefox tank. Yeah.
Yeah, but so what? You're having issues with them dying off? Like, how many are we talking about here?
Killing each other, one by one by one.
That's not ideal. Is it like just males having to go at each other, or females too?
There shouldn't be that many males in there. But it is the smaller ones, so I'm wondering if it's the smaller males that are growing up in there that they're killing. I'm not sure. They're still breeding really well because they have lots of fry growing out, but the colony is depleting. So yeah.
Are you gonna try grow some out and put some more back in to top it up, or?
That is the plan. Yes.
Nice.
Intentional
well, that's
Firefox.
always a good option. With the trophy assay, it's always just a matter of more is always better.
I had 35 or something in there, so I still don't know why they died off. But
how many do you have left?
Probably 15 or 20.
Oh, geez, that's quite a lot. Like
yeah.
Is that because Tropheus are shit fish and they kill themselves? There's a decent argument on Tropheus being shit fish.
I'm not going to get on board with that suggestion.
Yeah, but there is a good argument for that. Like, let's be real here. There is a good argument.
People do argue that the Earth is flat as well, and they say it's a good argument. So, yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Wait, the Earth's not flat?
I'd be curious to know the amount of people that have had massive quantities of Tropheus kick each other's ass and start with 30,000 and end up with 3.
I'd also love to know those people that don't think the Earth is flat. You know, it's the same sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying as well. There'd be
Just saying,
good,
just hypothetical.
good hypothetical numbers that trophies kill themselves, and they are.
I'd say that more people have trouble with Trophius than have success with Trophius, but that's probably because they're doing it wrong. But then I did it right, and I'm still having trouble. So yeah.
I thought you were going to say more people have trouble with Trophies than they do flat earthers.
That's definitely not true, but whatever.
I don't know if flat earthers cause trouble. Do they cause trouble?
Depends.
They often cause entertainment more than trouble. Like one guy was going to shoot himself out of a cannon to go up and look and prove the Earth was flat. That's amazing. Why wouldn't he do that? It's so cool.
Didn't that guy die?
I think he died, yeah. But I mean,
That's
all in
sad.
the progress of science, though.
For science.
Science in quotation marks.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like we've done all the meditation on fish and what our minds have been, what fish have been on our minds. Have you got any more, Cameron?
I could go on forever, but if you're ready to go, we can scoot.
I'm drawing a blank on this one now. I mean, talked about some cool fish and some not so cool fish. I'm still putting the crapines in the not so cool fish realm, even the
Didn't you
albino
just say
one.
it was underrated? Like
They're
2
they're
minutes ago?
underrated, but then they're also like overrated. You overrated them a little bit.
I like those wild varieties. They're a little bit more
But they
pizzazz.
never. I've had them before, and they're never popular because everyone just thinks they're crabines.
Yeah.
So you pay a fortune
you,
for them.
you
You
can
breed
see
them,
some
and then
really cool ones overseas, eh? Like we don't
Mhm.
really get them too much.
We've had a lot of them. We've had the Nigerian reds, and I had 2 or 3 different species at one stage, which were real cool.
Yeah, I think I had 2 or 3 different redwood aquatic sportsmen maybe
Exactly. Yeah.
8 years ago, 9 years ago.
Yep. Those are the ones that I had too.
Yeah, I grabbed a few different species from them.
I had some.
You just
I
can't
bought
sell them.
some Nigerian red. I think I bought 6 when they were pretty little, when they first got imported a few years ago, and I ended up with 6 males and never ended up breeding them. But
Well, that is
one of them,
that is something about cribs, eh? If the pH, I think it's the pH, determines the sex of the fry.
yeah.
So if you stuff the pH up or something, then you can get all males or all females.
Yeah, and then because I was trying to, I had one in my plant tank for ages in the shop, and everyone loved it. They're all wanting to buy them, and I was like, yeah, don't have any females, can't do much. But then I actually gave that fish to someone who had only females. I think she had like 4 females, and as far as I know, they've been breeding and everything, so
Nice.
they're around, but they are cool and they're different. So what more could you want?
I think it's like you can see the crebensis in them, but they are like quite removed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that people don't want to pay any more than Crebine's price for them.
Yeah, 12
So
cents.
that's what I've found.
But the good thing is they breed fast enough where you can, sell a lot of them at a lower price, I guess.
Yeah. I've
But
got the sun in my eyes. The big orange is getting angry at me today, and my head is my forehead is glowing.
the your camera's seems to be struggling with all the reflection off your bald head.
Yeah, I can only do so much.
Yep. But yeah, do you wanna wrap us up then, Ryan? If that's all we got.
Yep. Thanks for listening. That was a big yawn. Anyway, it's early in the morning. It's interesting to see some people are still online and semi-interactive. Missed Helen this time though, which is disappointing. Wonder what happened to Helen. Yeah, we'll talk to you all next time. Make sure you send us in some emails and give us some feedback about the politician trying to get rid of the random question. That's just not acceptable. Not part of the schedule.
Okay.
Well, the only feedback we've got about it is that people want it gone. So
who's given that feedback? You.
we don't want it gone, but want to get into the main topic faster.
When have you had that feedback?
Well, like 3 times. I told you guys.
No, you didn't.
You
Yes,
told
I
us
did.
that. You just made that up.
I did,
You
like
just,
a week ago.
You just politicianed the shit out of that and made up some statistics to
Well,
support your
you
agenda.
go. After this, you go look through, like maybe a week and a half ago, and I'm pretty sure you'll find something that might be a bit surprising for you.
Nah. I don't even know what I ate for dinner last night, so I won't be surprised by what I discover a week and a half ago. I'll be like, oh my god, the Earth's round. What? Anyway, yeah, send us some emails, abuse us, do whatever you got to do,
Sweet as.
and we'll
Catch
talk
you
to you
all
guys
later.
later.
See ya.
All right, bye.